Hey guys, Rob and Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with the final episode of season 1 of The Walking Dead. It is episode 6, entitled TS-19. December 5th, 2010 is when it drops. It is directed by Guy Ferland, who directed, among a lot of TV stuff, he did do 2 episodes of The Mist, made for TV. I thought that was interesting. Written Frank Darabont and Adam Fierro, who is known, again, TV, a lot of TV, but Dexter is something that he's known for. Really the main guests on here, probably again a much longer time with Noah Emmerich, who plays Edwin Jenner, who is sort of named after the infamous or famous scientist who discovered the vaccine for smallpox. So that is sort of where Edwin Jenner comes from. And his wife, played by Claire Bronson, Candace Jenner. Right off the top, it is a packed season, boy. 6 episodes. It's a lot going on. And I'm going to try to just spend a minute or two recapping the entirety of what we really saw, the high points, I think. I really didn't write anything down, just kind of off the top of my head. I don't know if I don't know. There's something weird about TS-19. I get it, test subject 19, and the reveal, of course, is its wife. I would have almost rather had the episode titled Candace. And maybe even, I don't know how you, maybe if you, I don't know where you could have given us the infamous opening of Shane in the hospital with Rick, which is fantastic, because it does, as Robert Kirkman mentioned, it does eliminate, for all intents and purposes, it does sort of eliminate Shane as an antagonist of the show, although there are issues, as we see in the CDC, still between Shane and Laurie. Is it Laurie? I don't know. I've just had a total brain. So he really, Shane is, he's one of my favorite characters in the whole thing. Him and Dale both are great. Rick is awesome. But so those are really the two. So yeah, Candace, or I was thinking, I was watching, I love how they do on the for special features, I love how they give you the whole list of Inside the Walking Deads, and it's nice to kind of just flip through real quick and take a look, and I would have almost rather, if not Candace, I would have loved this for a title. Is there anything left? Because that really is a major thrust of this episode, is attaining that question. Is there anything left? Is there anything, be it in this country, in the United States, or globally? And some of these, there's some answers to these, right? Some of these. So really, so I don't know, as it is kind of, it is tough to, although they really don't spend a lot of time on pulling or tugging at our strings there in terms of the dimensions between Edwin and his wife. That's why I kind of wish they would have given us, I wish they would have tucked the whole opening hospital scene somewhere else, and maybe to open up this episode, give us something involving Candace, maybe even where she gets attacked, and give us a moment. We had Amy, her death, and Andrea just mourn over her body and grieve, and it would have been a great moment, especially for this episode, because it's, you got, okay, so there's 2 movies I often think about: Open Water, The Gray, 2 completely polar opposite ways of ending a movie. On the one side, she puts her up her arms and she just kind of lets herself sink down into the sharks, and that is it, and I hate that. But there's The Gray. You know the end, but it's not without a fight. And so you kind of, within the scope of the CDC, you have both of these ideas sort of banging against one another. And in Jenner, there's this sense of hopelessness, this sense of I'm just You know, he says it himself about others who just decided to opt out. It's time for him to opt out. Right? But he's been in, as he said, he's been in the darkness for a month in the basement, which kind of reminds you of a little bit of one of the greatest ever, man. But he's been in the darkness. These guys, Rick and them, have been out in the field. They've been learning what it's like to, you know, meet this threat head on, and the totality of the threat, and the loss of life, and yet they want to push forward. They want to continue to survive. You know, when the word is made that this entire CDC is just basically going to just blow up, man, and everything's locked and they can't get out. I love that moment because it seemed like there was a real threat to, you know, their lives, and how they reacted to that threat. You would think they would have just become a little numb because of all they've already been through, but they haven't. The finality of death, man, it's not supposed to get old, man, and we're not supposed to just embrace it. This goes against everything that we are as humanity. I mean, we strive to survive, right? To live and see another day. I don't know. So there's a lot of interesting, you know, and of course Jackie decides to, you know, hang back, and Andrea attempts, but Dale kind of thwarts that, which is nice. But Jenner's character, you know, in order to understand his apathy, I guess, to understand his hopelessness, had we had a scene with him at the beginning with Candace, where he's grieving similarly in a way Andrea did, if he's grieving over his wife's body, and then he has to just bounce into, you know, he is second best to his wife when it comes to, as we learned, when it comes to these things, and even getting the CDC, or getting the structural the structuralness of this place to continue to move forward, so that he can continue his work. He ends up learning to do things that he just doesn't know how to do, which is really fascinating. And yet at the end, because he's been in the dark, he's been in the basement, he's reached that point of exhaustion. I think it really would have cemented his character, and we would have understood his character more had we seen a moment with him and Candace. I think that would have been great. That would have been so great. I don't know where you tuck Rick and Shane in terms of the hospital scene, which is what opens up this episode, right? Which is a phenomenal scene, because it does sort of undercut Shane as a bad guy, although there's a scene where him and Laurie, that is rough, man, because you don't know where it's going to go or how far it's going to go, and you just know at some point they're going to have to deal with this mess. And so I just don't know how far into season 2. I mean, I've seen season 2, but like back in its first run, but I just don't remember how many episodes we have to go into before that is settled. The only thing I know is we're headed off to a farm. And so, you know, much of our time in the CDC is spent just initially enjoying a moment of peace in order to eat, and just celebrate a few moments. And then it doesn't take long before the reality, the gravity of the situation starts to take hold in terms of the nature of the contagion, as much as we know how it happened. The fact that France may have been one of the last countries to hold on, as far as we know. And then there's something Jenner, you know, at the end whispers in Rick's ear, which I think is made known a few episodes or so into season 2, that somehow comes back around. But they have a moment, they can shower up, they can just relax, and as what's said, you know, this is probably the first that Eddie can remember they're going to get a whole night's sleep. And most of them do get pretty well drunk the night before. And so this is just a moment to sort of just let all the guard down and just, but then it's not long before they're going to be right back out into this world. And that reminds me, I I can't remember if it was an IMDb or Wikipedia, but there is apparently a deleted scene, and I don't think it's on here anywhere. I've looked, where when they make their exit, and Jenner won't even let them out of the room, that they're all like the main, central room. But when he does finally let them out, he does so knowing they're not getting out of the CDC. But as it would happen, that lucky little grenade Rick finds in the tank, was it the second episode in, comes in handy, because that becomes their escape out. But there's a deleted scene apparently where they first place they go to is back to the nursing home, and they find literally everyone has been shot execution style. I wish there was somewhere to be seen. I wish you could see that, or I wish I could see that, because that seems intriguing. So all in all, I mean, we begin with Rick waking up, which is a nice nod, in episode 1, Days Gone By, as a nice throwback to 70s film era, type, way to shoot, which is a great homage to 28 Days Later, which is, great homage to Day of the Triffids, and then becomes Rick's journey, ultimately to his home, and the anguish, ultimately, in connecting, as a result of going into the city, connecting with those that eventually take him back to the camp where the great, the reunion of him and his family. But, Shane has already sort of stepped in, and now Shane has to step back out. It's some great moments, though. I mean, especially with Dale, and the moment, that great moment with Andrea and Amy, just trying to think, Merle up on the roof. And some of the dialogue shared between him and Rick is so freaking great. Daryl, his entrance, is so great. And a lot of the dialogue he shares with Rick is pretty good. The decision Andrea ultimately makes, which we don't see, her and Dale, to get out of the CDC. But that leaves Jackie back. And that moment between Jackie and Jenner is great. It's great. Because that's what you expect at the end of ends, when death is just front and center and you're only seconds away. The last fleeting moments, you want to be looking into someone's eyes, and I just thought that was an encouraging moment, a hopeful moment, in terms of the overallness of the series, right? Trying to think, Merle up on the roof, man, that's so great. Having to saw off his hand, it's great. Glenn driving the car, speeding down, honking the horn, and just speeding with the siren or whatever, because the horn is gone. There's some great moments. Him turn around to get Rick's hat, great moment. Rick's sense of hopelessness, just walking out of the hospital for the first time, not even knowing what world he stepped into, is pretty great. I'm just trying to think of a few moments. The gut scene is okay, but the moment when the dead actually crashes through the glass windows of in that department store is pretty excellent as well. I thought that was a great. The few cameos we got with Nicotero were good. I can't wait till we get to see the first episode that he directs. I don't think he directed one in here, did he? I can't remember. So yeah, I don't know. It's 14 in. I guess it's a good place. Season 1 in the books. I don't know if I'll wait a week to drop the next one. But I am very much looking forward to just kind of, season 1's gone. Let's start season 2, episode 1. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So either, the very next week, or I may skip a week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how quick I can get to it. So yeah, The Walking Dead. I hope y'all having a good time, just kind of re-immersing yourselves, revisiting. So it'll be interesting to see how far we get before things just seem to be untangling from just due to writing and everything else. We'll see. But anyways, I'm enjoying it. Characters, I'm just enjoying everything. So we'll see how season 2 is. As always, we end these things off with go dogs.
This is not a dream. Not a dream. It might be useful to